My name is Shaheen Haydari. I was born and raised in Tehran, Iran. I'm a daughter of a military family and I was a teacher for 35 years. I taught English as a second language, both in Iran and United States. I have two children, a boy and a girl. My daughter, my younger child, is transgender, and when she was very young, I noticed that her behavior was very different from my son. In the toys she liked to play with, how she showed affection towards me, my mother, she liked to wear my clothes, play with my makeup, and I was concerned. I thought that there was something wrong with that. I took her to a therapist when she was 3, and the therapist just watched Puya play and told me not to encourage this, not to discourage this. This is a phase and it will just pass. So I followed that guidance. I didn't take her to a therapist until she was 11. She was still different, good at school, but different. And this therapist had a very aggressive approach, which I was very disappointed in. He proceeded to scold Puya and somewhat humiliate her in her behavior. This is not what a boy does. This is not manly behavior. And here I'm watching my 11-year-old child cry because she's being humiliated. And I'm thinking to myself, why did I do this? If I wanted to scold my child, I could have done it myself. I brought her to for us to get guidance, to be helped, and that is not what we got. And that discouraged me from taking her to another therapist for many years until she was 16 and she was withdrawn, isolated, depressed. And this therapist was recommended because he had specialty in gender and sex, and he told me that my child was a transsexual, had gender identity disorder, which I heard as the fact that she's sick and she needs to be cured, because all I'm thinking is, how is this trans child going to have a future? She won't be able to marry, she won't be able to work, she won't have a place in society, she won't be safe, she won't have the standing in society that I wanted my child to have. So I went on looking for a cure, and my husband and I did not see eye to eye on this, because he somehow saw me at fault for this, as mothers usually get the blame for their children. And I was desperate enough that at my sister's recommendation, I went to this religious place, this well that people go and they throw money and they bargain with God and they ask for a cure. And I didn't believe in any of it, but I was desperate enough that I was going to do that. My husband drove us, but he didn't come in. As I said, we'd have a united front on this. My sister and I went, I threw the money in, I asked for a cure, I bartered with God, but there was no cure. And then when I saw my child trying to commit suicide, cutting herself, taking pill overdoses to end her life, I realized that we had a choice between an alive trans daughter or a dead son. And I'm a parent, and I wanted my child to be alive, so we made the choice. I wanted to have an alive trans child, if that was the only way. And I set out outside of Iran to find a place for her to be able to transition, have her surgery, and have her life. And that's how I ended up in the United States. And then Puya followed 20-something years ago, and we found our life here, and she started her transition and she had her surgery, and we started a whole new life. And I'm very glad that I made that decision, because of that decision, my child is alive. And everything else that we had to go through was worth it. Because I believe that ultimately all parents want to protect their children. And that's what I did. And I hope other parents do the same thing.